Hey guys, back at you guys again with another video. I wanted to go ahead and make this video a little bit different just because it's kind of live reps, especially during open enrollment this time of year. I just wanted to kind of get you guys going with a live sales call that I had that we did end up closing. Just want to kind of walk you guys through a live reaction of exactly what went well, maybe what didn't go so well, and how we were able to kind of walk through some of the pieces of exactly what you guys should be doing on your sales calls so that hopefully this might help maybe even just one agent. For those of you guys that are clicking on for the first time, my name is Nku. I generated over 35 million in team sales, built up a team of over 52 agents, and now I help independent insurance agents help grow their business as well. So if that's you struggling, go ahead and check out this video because I'm sure you will be able to take something away from this as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Ryan, sir, how are you? How's everything going?
Yeah, doing good. I know. So you live your office in Tulsa, right?
So
I'm sorry.
Real quick, he was just asking me because I had spoken to this guy before. He was living in Tulsa. Now he lives in Texas, and he was just basically wondering if I was a local agent. Here I am, just explaining to him a little bit, just keeping that frame, making sure that he knows who I am, why we spoke, and what it is that I do.
Or somewhere else?
No, sir, I'm a licensed advisor. So, like I mentioned last time we spoke and we got the policy, I know it was a while ago, but I'm licensed in over 32 states. So we can look at any plan wherever you move because we work with nationwide coverage for you. So we'll be able to take a look at coverage that's regardless of where you live. So that's why when you called me and you said you moved from Oklahoma to Texas, I'm also licensed in Texas, so no big deal there. But yeah, tell me about your situation. Why did you move to Texas? So this is just me kind of catching up with him. Obviously, you guys can hear the accent. So obviously, he is. It's going to be a foreign policy. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of a language barrier, as you guys will be able to tell. But yeah.
Actually, my job changed, so I was planning to move to Texas is a couple of years, and also originally I moved from Dallas area to Tulsa. Mm-hmm. And then again I moved back from Tulsa to Dallas. Almost two years ago I moved to Texas.
Oh, so you've been here 2 years now?
Yeah, it's been more than 2 years, I think. I moved back
so it's not the move. So let me pause that real quick. So the reason he's looking, it's not because he moved from Oklahoma to Texas. He actually had coverage in Texas. But the reason he's looking now, he'll go ahead and dive into, but it's because he wants to go self-employed. So he's going to be losing his employer coverage.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I live in, well, I don't live there, but I'm going to go visit there soon. Prosper, Texas? Yeah. That's where my brother used to live over there, and then we recently got a home in Pilot Point, Texas.
Oh, he moved further then, huh?
Yeah, because they're building more stuff out there. Very close to his area that he's in. So I'm just desert. But yeah, we were right there by the high school, by Prosper High School.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see this. A lot of people, from different places. So a lot of good schools, good area, good communities.
Yeah, 100%. So the place that you went to, so basically you went to a new job and they're not offering you coverage at all?
No, actually they offered, right now I'm thinking to, I'm planning to quit jobs. So I want to do something by myself.
So this is where he's telling me that he's going self-employed.
I'm tired of working for someone else. So maybe, I want to try by myself. Let's see how it goes. Then if this doesn't work, then I'll go back to job again. But yeah, for now.
So when you said that you needed insurance for December 1st, is that because you're leaving your job, or is that because?
Yes. I'll be leaving my job. Yeah.
So this is just me. Let me pause it real quick. This is just me making sure the situation. Remember, guys, I always preach on the situation. This is just me making sure that he's actually going to need the coverage for December 1st, and it's not just something he's quote unquote exploring or still weighing out whether or not he's going to leave his job, and he's looking at the prices. Because sometimes you'll get people that are just shopping around and they're going to leave their employer only if the prices for their health insurance plan are worth it. So this is just me making sure that he actually is leaving. And this is also me making sure that the reason he's leaving is because he is going self-employed. First, or the end of this month is the last date of your coverage.
Yes, that's true.
Gotcha. And are they going to offer you Cobra? Did you get the Cobra notice?
Cobra, but Cobra looks like it's normally it's expensive, right?
Very expensive. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you're not even going to consider it.
I'm not going to consider because it's very expensive. Yeah.
Now, sometimes the reason I ask that, sometimes people like to keep their Cobra, or at least consider it because it's similar coverage to what they had, but the premium is just a lot more. So as you can see here, Cobra is not an option. He needs coverage by December 1st. Now pretty much let's dance, right? Let's look at some options.
But like I said, I and my family members don't have any, the serious health issues.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember you saying that via text message. So let me kind of build up the quote here. So 75009 is what I have as your zip code?
Yes, 75009. Yeah.
What is your date of birth?
Mine is June 25, 1981.
And then your height?
My height is 5 feet 8 inches.
Weight?
Weight around 190 lbs.
No smoker, no blood pressure for you, right?
No.
All right, same information for your wife?
Yeah.
Date of birth?
Date of birth is June.
It doesn't come up because
It's
been a few years. Yeah, but let me just go. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Last name SR.
Yeah, this is my maybe printable, not printable, right? So make sure, but these things, the basic minimum things need to be covered. And also let me know what are the plans you have, and then what are their out of pocket and all. Like based on that, we'll see.
Okay, let me do this for you. Let me just pull up both options, and then I'm gonna. Okay, can you see my screen?
I can see yours.
All right, perfect. So at this point, I know I'm going to show him all the options. I know when he needs coverage by. I know why he's looking. I know for the most part his health situation, his entire family is relatively healthy. Now I'm really just leveraging all the plans that are available in his area, in the city of North Dallas, and from there I'm just going to let him pick a plan that's available, right? So I'm not, as you guys can see, I'm not hard closing him. As far as how I communicate with him, it's just like I'm talking to a friend. And so when we go over the options, my job is to really explain anything to him. And if he wants to look at anything else, making sure that we lock that in as well. I'm going to go over both markets for you. So that way you can take a look at everything that's available. And then hopefully at one of these options, we can get something for December 1st before the approval date, before it's too late. But in this area of Collin County, you have 125 plans to pick from. This is for the plan year 2026. So the first option I'm going to show him is the marketplace. This is going to be ACA. This is just going to be him looking at it in Texas for a family of 4. He's not going to be too happy about the prices. The lowest premium of what you'll have available to you through these markets is through WellPoint. Have you heard of WellPoint before? Is it familiar to you? No? Okay. Well, this is going to be the lowest monthly premium. It's a local plan. The deductible is $12,000. Do you remember, Bala, how deductibles work?
Yeah, I remember, but not exactly now.
No problem. So at this point, anytime someone says they know or they don't know, I'm still explaining to them what the deductible is. I'm still explaining to them everything about their plan, even if they tell me they know it to a T. They say, if he would have said at that point, if he would have said, yes, I know what it is, I'm like, oh, perfect. Just to, brush your memory again. It's, what you have to come out of pocket before the benefits are available to you. So it's more educational, less sales. The amount you have to satisfy before the insurance actually kicks in for you. So when we go through and you see how it says 12,000, you guys are a family plan. So you have to satisfy everything. When we scroll down, everything before the deductible is met. When you go back up, you're going to see your deductible is 12,000 for the family. So whether you go in outside of a primary care visit, you pay $50. But if it's like a cardiologist, if it's a neurologist, if it's anything more than just a normal visit, you pay the full price, no matter how much it is. Brand name medication, all medications will be full price. So if they charge you let's say they charge you $2,000 for blood work, you're paying the full $2,000 all the way up until that deductible is met. Now, Bala, from what you mentioned to me, you said you're in relatively good health, right?
Yes.
Do you think that... So really what I'm trying to get him to do here is I'm trying to have him disqualify these options. So he said he wants to take a look at everything, but and I am going to show him everything, but I want him to disqualify it himself. I don't want to lead him to the fact that all these plans are not going to be for you, because that's just going to grow curiosity, and at the end of the call, he's going to say, I want to explore more than just one plan, or I want to explore all my options. But you'll see that here shortly. You would see yourself hitting $12,000 in a year worth of medical bills?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. So let me kind of show you what that looks like when you lower the deductible. So if we want to get a lower deductible on this market, we can most definitely do so. But now you see we're upwards of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, $3,300 a month, $2,300. I mean, now it's starting to look like your mortgage payment, right?
Oh my God, it's more. Yeah, it's close.
So that's where I don't really recommend these plans to individuals that are relatively healthy, because you're either not going to meet the deductible that you know, of someone that's relatively healthy, unless something crazy happens, or the premium is going to be much, much higher for insurance that you're probably never really going to use, right?
Correct.
Those are going to be most of the 125 plans that you see on this market. So again, this is what's known as ACA. This is public market, Obamacare. It's all the same thing, but this is the open market in the state of Texas. Do you have any questions about how this market works? So notice I told him there's 125 plan options available to him so he can see everything, but I really only went over one or two plans, right? To let him understand. Bottom end, you're looking at $1,200 with a high deductible. High end, you're looking at $2,200, $2,300 with a zero deductible, right? Do any of these interest you? I knew the answer was no, given the quote, I initially had sent him over was, under $1,000 a month. And so I knew showing him these options, we're going to automatically disqualify this market, which leads him right back to the option that I really want him to go over, which is the private market.
No, I don't have anything, but when I charted, this afternoon, right?
Let me continue. So I knew already what he was going to ask. It might look as if I'm being a little bit aggressive, and especially when you're dealing with foreign individuals or people that are not used to insurance, you really want to stranglehold the process. So let them know, look, I understand what you're going to ask. Just let me finish, so that if you do have questions, it's not going to be something that I'm going to go over with you right now. Because right there, I knew exactly what his question was going to be. I knew he was going to ask, but sir, I thought you were going to show me the plans of what you quoted me. Slow down, right? I just wanted to show you everything. Earlier you said you wanted to see everything. Now you wanted to see just one plan that's, in your budget. So that's kind of how you're able to qualify and also disqualify plan options that are available for them, so that when they do latch on to the one that you want to offer them or you think would fit them best, it's going to fit like a glove. I'm not finished yet. But do you have any questions about this?
No.
Okay. So when we transition over to the private option, this is going to be where, again, it's going to be geared towards your health. This is going to be through United Healthcare. Now, have you heard of United Healthcare before? I know you said you've had the plan before.
Of course
he has. But do you?
I had a plan with you right before.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure you remembered using that. It was through United Healthcare. You got the insurance cards and all that.
Yeah, from you.
Let me go ahead and double check to see if there's any doctors in your area that you maybe want to look up, to make sure that if there is someone that you guys are seeing, that we can double check that they're in network. Is there a doctor you or your kids or your wife are seeing that you want me to double check for you?
You can check. Actually, I take my kids to the kids doctor, Dr. Mutiala. Search for.
Can you spell the last name for me?
It's M as in Mary, U as in umbrella, T as in Tango, H as in Henry.
Whether you get the doctor or the hospital, it's going to be the same thing for you. I just want to make sure that it's in network, and that's what you see here in the top right.
And also check for me QuickMed.
And that's any of the cooks that you go to as well. So I want to make sure that you guys understand. This is just me looking up his doctor lookup. Nothing really much to make note of, but just making sure that when he goes to use the insurance, I'm going to go over with him, which is through United Healthcare, that his doctors are going to be good, facilities will be good. He's not going to run into any issues about, what is this insurance or who is this through, right? If you guys remember on the public market, the first option I showed him, I said, have you heard of Wellmark before? He said no, right? So I'm already building a stronger case for him to go over through the private market if, as long as the price makes sense and as long as the coverage is going to make sense to him.
Oh, yeah. And also check for myself and my wife. QuickMed, QUICK.
Medical Group?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's in...
Frisco?
Yeah. Where is it?
It says Frisco?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, same. Yeah.
Collin County. That one's going to be in network. So if you scroll over to the right, that one's good to go for you as well. Right. You're going to be working with, so he's with me on the screen here, and I'm just telling him he can see the in-network check mark, so it's not anything that I'm hiding from him. It's right in his face. It's, the same plan that he's going to be looking at. Everything that he's looking at so far has been in-network. So far, so good. 95 to 97% of in-network providers through United, because it's a PPO network, so that just means that it's going to cover you in all 50 states, and then you don't need a referral from your primary doctor to go see another specialist. So you can just go book the appointment directly with the specialist. Now, is there any other doctors or facilities that you want me to look up for you on this page?
Yeah, that's pretty much. I think we are going to this doctor and that doctor. That's
all right, perfect. And if you have any in the future, you need me to find you any doctors in the area, you can always reach out to me because, again, like always, I do come with the plan, so I'll be able to pull up anything and send it over to you as well if need be. But going back into the plan itself, so this is going to be available to you on the private market. So now we're looking at both markets for you here. The name of the plan is going to be... So I just reemphasize that so he knows, hey, we're still looking at all your options. Premier Advantage, and it's going to be through United Healthcare. That is going to be a PPO. And the first thing that you're going to see regarding the coverage itself is that there is no deductible to satisfy before the benefits kick in for you. So that means, unlike this plan, you're not having to pay over here 4, 5, 6, 7 grand up front before the insurance kicks in. There is no co-insurance on the plan either, which just means that you're never paying anything when you go into the actual facility. So whether it's for you, the kids, or anybody else, you simply just walk in, show your insurance card for United Healthcare, you get treated, and then you leave. First thing they're going to do... See how I'm walking him through what the scenario of him using the coverage is going to look like? So I've already mentioned to him the deductible. So even if he forgot what a deductible was from the 5 minutes before me explaining it, I'm re-emphasizing, look, this plan has a lower deductible. This plan has a higher deductible, right? So this one, benefits are available right away. This one, you have to come out of pocket for, right? I'm already creating that distinction of the options available. So now he's understanding that. We're going to build the insurance company. That's where the in-network provider comes in. That's why we looked up all the things that we just did. On average, that'll take off anywhere from 50 to 80% off of the bill just for them accepting the insurance. Are you following me so far?
Yes.
And one thing that agents would do, I know I'm pausing it a lot here, but one thing that agents would do a lot is they would just ramble about everything they know about insurance, and they're not making sure that the prospect is following along. So normally you can kind of tell when someone's not following along because they'll start hitting you with a okay, and then they'll get to the end and they know they're going to get an email, or they know they're going to request an email from you, so they kind of just tune you out. But one thing you always want to make sure you're doing throughout the presentation is making sure that, can you see this? You know, phrases like that. Can you see this? Do you need me to zoom in? Are you following me so far? Any questions, right? After any 3 to 5 minutes. So if you're talking for more than 3 to 5 minutes, or even less than that, I would say, if you're talking from 1 to 3 minutes nonstop and you're not checking in with the clients, you're going to lose the sale. What we'll do is, if you look over to the right, they're going to apply an additional benefit amount of $100 for each doctor's visit you go in for. So again, that's not a charge. Nothing you see on that screen is a charge. Those are additional benefit amounts towards those services. Notice how, so let me kind of break it down to you like this. Sure he's following along on the screen. Let's say you go in for a doctor's visit and the bill is $250, right? Let's say it's a specialist visit. If you don't have insurance, right, you have to pay the $250, and that $250 goes towards this deductible when we look at these plans. Back over here, the $250, let's say you get the in-network provider, that takes off, let's say 50. So I think I actually did mess up. I told him if he didn't have insurance, what I meant to say was if you're on the ACA market, right, or if you have a deductible to meet. But regardless, the example still applies, right? He's paying the full $250 in this scenario, and that goes towards the deductible, or he's paying the full $250 because he doesn't have insurance, right? That's the example that I was laying out to him. Right now we're down to $125. From there, you apply this additional benefit amount of $100. You're left with a remaining balance of $25. You don't pay that at the facility. You pay that a few weeks after your visit. Doctor's visits on this plan usually range from $20 to $30. Usually just depends on how much that doctor is charging. Does that make sense to you, Bala? Any questions about that?
So let's say if I go to doctor, I'll be paying like $30. And then doctor fees is $200. So the remaining balance...
So I just explained it to him, right? I'm pretty sure he's going to get it wrong here, which is why, like I said, you always want to make sure that you're asking, does this make sense? Are you following me here? Literally, don't do it unlimited, right? Do it periodically after you're done explaining specific sections or after you're done giving specific examples so that you know he's following along, right?
I need to pay or how it works?
I'm sorry?
If I go to doctor, okay, doctor visit is, let's say if I get a sick, okay, and it's a normal fever, I go to doctor, I'll be paying the copay, whatever, is that copay or whatever, the $30 or $40.
Did you understand the example that we went over, or do you want me to go over that again?
Yeah, please go on.
Okay, so as you can clearly see, he didn't understand what the hell I just said, right? Because whatever he was just trying to describe to me, I didn't understand. I knew that he didn't understand. So I was like, look, I'll just go over it again, but I'll go over it slower this time. So let's say your doctor's visit, right? In this scenario, let's say it's $250. Now I'm slowing down, okay? Let's say that's just what they charge to get the fever checked out. On this plan, in that example, you walk in, as long as they accept United Healthcare, which based off of where you go, it seems like they do.
That's why we look at
That
the
will
doctors.
take off a minimum of 50% for you. That's your provider discount. That will bring it down to $125. From there, when you look at the benefit of what it pays for a doctor's visit, it's $100 that you receive. That is applied to the remaining balance of $125. You will receive a balance online a few weeks after your service, basically saying that you owe $25, which is the remaining balance or the excluded charges.
Okay.
Doctor's visits on this plan usually range around $20 to $30. The only difference is you just don't have to pay it at the facility before you're seen by the doctor. Because again, this plan does not have any copays.
So now, boom. So now he knows. It makes sense to him, right? I've explained to him how the doctor's visits work twice now, but the second time I slowed it down. I enunciated all of the words. I made sure that he saw the benefits I was referring to, and I actually gave him an example of like what he should expect when he is seen for a doctor in that example that he laid out. So a fever, right? And then I also doubled down on how he's going to have other features on his plan where he's really not even going to have to come out of pocket for something as minor as that.
Okay, makes sense. And is there any limit that the number of visits I need to go to doctor or?
Yes, the visit for the benefits, as you see on the screen here, is 6. But I will tie into, and I'll tell you why this normally does not become an issue, because you're going to have a telehealth service that's built into this plan for you to take care of those minor needs. So you don't even have to leave your home if you need medication for something like that.
Okay, got it.
But
So answered the objection, right? It wasn't really an objection, but it was just him seeing the fact that the benefit amount on the screen only paid out a specific amount of times throughout the year. And my response to that was, yes, that's correct. You see it on the screen, correct. It's only going to pay out 6 times for the year. But if you're going in for something like a fever, headache, antibiotic stuff, your telehealth service will cover all that stuff for you, where these benefit amounts will not even be applicable. So again, when you are explaining your product and whatever it is that you offer, when you know exactly the structure of how you're going to explain things to them and what objections people might have, it's going to make explaining it a lot easier, right? Remember, you're putting yourself in the client's shoes every single time you speak with a brand new agent, because they've never seen this stuff before. They probably do this once a year, right? Or maybe even a couple times a year. But that's the only time they're seeing insurance. That's the only time they care about insurance. You're doing this every single day, right? So you should know this stuff like the back of your hand, and you should know what objections are going to come up even before they come up, given how they are responding to you.
everything else on this page is going to work the same exact way. You're going to get a specific benefit amount after the provider discount of 50 to 80%. And then whatever is left over is what you are left to pay, including your preventative care, which let's say you're going in for a mammogram, right? It's going to work the same way, just like that example I gave you. You're going to get the 50 to 80% off of the bill. You're going to get the additional benefits you see on the screen here. The only difference is that because preventative care, so like a physical exam, mammogram, PSA test, colonoscopy, just things that we all need to get done to make sure nothing crazy is going on with us. The only difference is this benefit that you're going to receive is a little bit higher than that of a doctor's visit, so you're normally not coming out of pocket for your preventative care, which is standard with most plans.
Okay.
Any questions on that at all?
So sometimes you just want to make sure that when you're explaining certain sections, well, pretty much what I'm going over is how his doctor's visits work and how his day-to-day services are going to work is going to work the exact same way for his preventative care, right? And so I'm just reiterating that for him. I'm also letting him know that he's really not going to have to come out of pocket for those preventative services, which is standard practice for probably his employer coverage and most ACA plans that you see out there, if not all of them. So this is just me reiterating, hey, your preventative is probably going to work the same way that you're used to, so nothing to worry about that. You really shouldn't have many objections from that.
No.
Perfect. Now that's the basic stuff. We've touched on exactly how the basic stuff works on this market and on this plan. God forbid something crazy, catastrophic were to happen to you. That's where the max out of pocket would come into play. On this plan, it's going to be $3,000. Bala, once that number is satisfied, you are covered at 100% for the remainder of the year.
So it wouldn't matter at that point if your claim was 100,000, 200,000, or even $500,000. 3,000 is going to be the most that you'll ever satisfy on this given coverage. The only difference between this plan and any other plan that we'll look at is you're meeting this number throughout the year. This number you only have to meet if something happens to you. So notice he tried to cut me off. Again, I probably knew what the question was that he was going to ask, so I just continued talking because it was probably going to answer his question, right? So that's frame, that's controlling the call, controlling the conversation. If you are right now the agent that's sitting there and you are waiting for them to ask you all the questions and you think answering all the questions is going to get you the sale, you are wrong, right? You have to frame your pitch in a way where it eliminates most, if not all, objections. You're going to get objections, right? I'm not saying that. You're not. But you have to go about it in a way where your pitch is tailored, right? You notice how I went back to the public market. You notice how, well, you can't see it on the screen, but I went back to the public market and I showed him, look, with this $12,000 deductible, you're chipping away at this throughout the year. This $3,000 max out of pocket or deductible, it's the same number. You only have to satisfy if something major were to happen to you, right? Notice the difference. That's really what I'm telling him here.
Oh, okay. So this is per person, right? 3,000.
Per person to a maximum of 3 people. Meaning if 4 people needed a surgery in 1 year, the most you're paying on this year and on this plan is $9,000.
Okay, makes sense.
All right. That's pretty much the gist. That's the core of the plan itself. So that will remain consistent. Of course, you can add things like dental, vision, things like that on the plan as well. I just wanted to quickly go over the accidental coverage to see if this is something that... So this is just me trying to find the part in the brochure, going over his accident coverage, which you'll see here, of value to you. And if it is not, we can kind of go about it that way. But basically, this is how the accident coverage is structured. Any accident that you were to have under $7,500, this would be a broken arm, leg, wrist, something like that, where it's not as severe as a heart attack, you're only paying $250. In this situation, anything more than $7,500, that would be like 2 broken arms. Maybe it's a little bit more severe. That's where you have to use your $3,000 max out of pocket to help cover those bills. But this is just kind of that in-between coverage for you in case you were to fracture a bone and it's not that severe. You can pay $250 and pay instead of paying $3,000. Make sense there? Any questions about that?
Yeah, makes sense.
That's pretty much the gist of the plan here for you. So just to kind of recap everything that we have, you still have these local plans available. So pretty straightforward, right? Outside of the siren in the background, right? Pretty ironic there that there is a siren in the background while I'm going over accident coverage. Anything under $7,500, he pays X amount. Anything over $7,500, he goes back to the max out of pocket, right? When you explain things like that, when you give people examples of when they would have to use something like that, and they tie it to that example, it usually eliminates questions. It usually eliminates the 1,000 scenarios of, well, what if I break my arm, but it's broken at a 75-degree angle and it's a compound fracture and it's, this is what you pay here, this is what you pay in this scenario. That's how you want to almost explain things in bullet point format when you're going about your presentation. So these are starting off, minimum is going to be $1,400 a month, $12,000 deductible. Probably looks very similar to what that Cobra coverage would be, maybe even a little bit more. You lower the deductible with these plans. The only thing it's going to do is going to skyrocket that premium to $2,200. And remember, these plans are all local. So you can't take this coverage and use it in an Oklahoma or use it in a Georgia or any place like that. Right. Whereas when we go over to the private option for the family of 4, this is going to be $801 a month for you. This is more of a bronze level option. That's a $0 deductible, $0 copay for your day-to-day services. Doctor's visits on average will be about $20 to $30 for you. Something catastrophic happens, you are paying $3,000. If it is something more accident related, you are paying $250. With that being said, Bala, between the two markets, I guess with what we're looking at, this is the plan that you had previously. These are some of the other plans that you wanted to look at. Is there any specific questions? Is there anything that didn't make sense to you? Is there any preference that you have?
No, I don't have any preference.
Okay, is this the plan that makes more sense to you, the one that we're looking at here?
So how much you said for this plan?
The price is in the top right, sir. So it's going to be $801.69 for this plan.
Very that top.
And then, yeah, so scroll to the right. To the right?
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, this is for... So
by this point, he's comparing options. He's deciding which one he wants.
I've really, I've done my due diligence. I've recapped both markets for him. I've told him what the prices are going to be. He knows he needs December 1st coverage. If he has any hesitation past this point, knowing that there's no objections, knowing he's not going to ask for an email and review things over, this is where I am adding the urgency, just tightening the close and making sure that we get this done for him, right? If a lot of times you let your foot off the gas at this point because you feel like you did a good job, you will lose the sale through an email, or you will lose a sale by someone else, by him price hunting to another agent. That's what you're trying to prevent here.
4 people, right?
Correct. So that's going to be the rate that you're getting over on the private market. You still have these plans available. I don't know if you were interested in these or not.
No.
Disqualify. Bye-bye.
That's expensive, man.
Boom. Disqualify him. That's expensive, right? Oh, you didn't want those plans? I had no idea. Of course I knew he didn't want those plans, right? I want him to come to that decision, right? I want him to walk himself through the plan that he wants and how to go through the application, okay? So if this is going to be the plan, 801 is what it's coming in at. That's going to be the bottomed out plan. So if you wanted to add dental, vision, anything like that, you'd be adding to this 801 monthly premium, but you can leave this as is. And if you want to add that stuff on later, you're more than welcome to. But that's...
I just want to, one kid dental, one kid vision. So how much it would be like? Just, can you check?
You can't add the kids without adding one of the parents.
Okay, let's say then add my wife for dental, and then my one kid for dental, another kid for eye.
So the dental is $40 per person. The vision is $10.
Okay, dental. Okay. Per month extra.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
One may have eye and one may have.
What is? Yes.
We'll see later maybe, but and also okay, this is for 4 people, right? So what about removing me and then just adding my wife and the 2 kids?
So pretty much the only thing he's trying to do at this point is just see if he can get the price cheaper, or see if he can toggle with the price. It's not really, to take himself off the coverage and then to add himself on later, because that's what's going to happen, is not really something that I recommend to clients. You can do it, but it's just putting yourself through a headache of underwriting again and going through that whole process. Another thing I want you guys to notice as well is how I put the bronze, silver, and gold, or at least how I explained it in that fashion. I would recommend you guys throw that in your pitch as well, so that if your plan is customizable in that regard, if you want to throw supplemental, if you want to throw dental and vision on the different tier options, you'll notice a lot of times, same way that the psychology of picking the medium cup is the same psychology we're using when people pick the silver option. You're going to close a lot more deals and have a lot more supplemental doing it in that way. And you're not, doing wrong by the client in this sense, because all you're doing is just offering them better coverage and a higher level plan, really, at the end of the day. If we were to do that, it would be around $250 less.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, so...
But...
Yeah.
If you were to be, it would be harder to do that. I would rather have you on the plan first and then remove you later if you don't want to, because then you've already gone through the underwriting again. I don't want you to have to call through, then you have to go through the question twice, one for your family and then one for you.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
801, so that's the monthly premium of what you're looking at. You're not paying. So now by this point, I'm just letting him know. We got to get through the application. Here's the process. You probably don't have any questions. If you do, you can ask me at this point. Let's get this application done. Let's get you approved for December 1st. Okay, so that's what you guys are going to see here. Anything today, Bala? You're able to select this for whatever start date that you would like. One thing I would like to remind you is that this is a health-based option. So I can't, because you were on the plan for 6 months, I can't guarantee your approval, which is why I recommend getting an application in over to them for them to review this, to make sure that everything matches with what they have. Application is the same as what you went over last time. It was the demographic information, running through the health history, and then they will confirm payment information for when you would like the plan to start. If that is December 1st, that is when the coverage would kick in. That is when the premium itself would be drafted. Between now and then, you would take a quick underwriting call. That's just making sure that I did my job correctly and explaining the information and making sure that the answers match. As long as that's the case, you'll be notified of an approval and they'll send your insurance cards shortly thereafter. In between now and December 1st, Bala, if there are any questions, if there's anything that you want to adjust, you have the ability to call me, and I can obviously help you call in and get that handled. So that's kind of where we're at with things right now. Does that all make sense to you?
Yes.
And as long as the process makes sense, you walk them through the close. By this point, I got him. I'm walking him through the close. As far as that's concerned, the information I have on the screen is still correct as is. First name is spelled. That's the end of the recording. I walk him through the application. I guess the only other thing that I probably could have done a better job at the end was he got to the payment screen and he got a little hesitant. And the reason he got hesitant was not anything that I did or maybe didn't do. It was more of the fact that he thought he had to pay on that application screen that we were at. And if you guys saw in the video, I mentioned to him already, you don't pay anything until the start date of 12/1 or whatever start date you want the insurance to kick in. That is how I mentioned it to him. I mentioned to him on the application on the demographic screen as well. For some reason, he didn't catch it. So we spent probably 5-10 minutes explaining to him that I went over his options. And then when I paused, I said, wait, Bala, I was like, you don't have to pay anything today, right? And he was like, oh, and that huge, weight was lifted off of his shoulders. So that's probably something I could have done a better job at. Regardless, we got the payment information, we scheduled his call, and we got the call closed, and we got the policy issued as well. So all that stuff went well. If you guys like videos like this, please make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe so I can get that feedback from you guys. But until next time, I will talk to you guys very soon.